Hey everybody, I'm Justin Cox. I'm the founder and CEO of Atlas Brew Works here in Northeast DC. We've got our head brewer, Daniel Vilarrubi, joining us as well. And we're also here with Rob.
Hey, I'm Rob Davis with the Center for Pollinators and Energy at nonprofit Fresh Energy.
Yeah, so we just kind of want to give you all a little bit of background and context all about the new collaboration beer that we just released called Sunny Honey Saison. So the kind of genesis of this beer was that I believe, Daniel, you want to talk a little bit about how you and Rob met?
Yeah, so kind of out of nowhere, got an email from Rob. He was coming to DC. He was working with Fresh Energy, like you mentioned, and had this idea to sort of collaborate on a beer made with solar-grown honey. As we'll probably get into it a little later, but there's like a massive a massive solar array being in DC that was like built, and they were kind of in the process of planting wildflowers beneath it. And yeah, we kind of got to like go visit there while he was around, and yeah, I talked about making a beer, and it was kind of just an awesome sounding project. We're already like a solar powered brewery. We really do what we can, be environmental stewards the best we can. And yeah, so eventually we kind of talked about it a bit, and we settled on the idea of doing like a honey saison.
It was really neat to meet with you guys that afternoon, Daniel, and just see your place and, see the operation. I mean, this was all pre-COVID, right? So it was there was no worries for face masks or Zoom.
Yeah. We were all young and free.
We're passing glasses around.
Yeah, and so I didn't actually know. I unfortunately, Rob didn't get to meet you when you were here originally. So Daniel came to me a little bit later and said, "Yeah, there's this guy from Minnesota who's got some honey he wants to send us and make a beer with it." And I was just kind of like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds cool." And then once we kind of learned a little bit more about what you do and about pollinators and what their interaction with solar farms, of course, it made total sense. It was just an awesome idea. As Daniel mentioned, we're a solar-powered brewery and have been since 2016. We consider ourselves, definitely in that world, but I was totally ignorant of what you guys at Fresh Energy are doing. So it was really cool to kind of learn about your mission and your successes all over the country throughout this process. Kind of up our knowledge a little bit at Atlas and hopefully get the word out a little bit with you.
It's so exciting what's happening in solar, but yeah, like you said, it's just the knowledge gap that we're experiencing right now is that, so many people and corporations and counties and cities don't even know to ask that they can have flowering meadows under and around all their solar farms. They can ask for clean, low-cost energy, as well as, these acres of flowering meadows to help save the bees.
Yeah, that's great, and thank you for that, Rob, and totally agree with you. And on the solar front, DC, your nation's capital, has done a lot of work in the past few years of really having an environmental focus and really pushing for solar panels and for green roofs and for lots of technologies surrounding, helping to make DC a net zero city eventually. Luckily we had, who's the director of the Department of Energy and Environment in DC, stop by and try the beer.
Okay, well, first off, let me say that the bottle is quite fancy. I mean, I've generally been a blue collar beer drinker, and this is fancy. Now I have been to, I've been to Belgium, and I do love great beers from across the world. That's why I hang out at Atlas. But this is a pretentious bottle, so it better be good.
Have they let you down?
No, they've never let me down. Right.
In DC, we're very proud of Atlas. Atlas is part of bringing back, local manufacturing in some ways, making things local, which is certainly my interest as being part of the environment and wanting, obviously for local sourcing of food and beer. And then they became, with which I really appreciate, the solar-powered beer of DC. In DC, we have extremely ambitious goals about getting up to 10% of all the power used in our city provided by solar generated within the city.
DC, You know, a lot of people don't know how great and how strong the nation's capital is doing on behalf of trying to mitigate climate change and being responsible. We're the first LEED Platinum city in the whole world. We've added more green roofs per year for the past 4 years, going on 5. And it's, even though the other buildings here, the federal buildings and some of their occupants are not doing what they should be doing, I think that everyone should know that the nation's capital is the people that live here, work here, and lead here are doing what we can to provide leadership for the country. Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know. The Department of Energy and Environment in D.C., we certify or register beehives in the city. And we have the head of all bees in Washington is here, Natasha. Natasha, how many beehives have we certified or registered in D.C.? So we're not a big city. We have 550 registered hives in Washington, D.C. And so it's a big deal here. And the idea of honey just being one of the things, along with beer, that we make in the city is a different way to think about what cities can be. So that's pretty exciting.
All right. So let me see what I can do here. Straight up. Yeah. Wow, did you hear the pop? Yeah. That's pretty exciting. I like that. I like my beer to pop. All right. Now this is a special glass here at Atlas that only fine beer should be drunk out of, I think. So it's a regular colored beer. It's not that light colored. Oh no, it's got a nice caramel color to it. And you know, it has a very nice nose. I can pick up on the honey. And you know, having a sweet tooth, I know honey. All right, here we go.
Interesting. There's so many flavors going on at once. This is special. This is really good. Wow. It hasn't stopped tasting. It has a honey finish. Isn't that interesting? Had a little bit of a sour, and then finishes with honey. Wow.
Toast to solar.
Toast to a special partnership between the state of Minnesota and the soon-to-be state of Washington, D.C. Of, you know, we're very proud to be in companionship on that, and I can't think of anything better to bring people together than not only beer, but beer brewed with honey from solar panels as a way to show our values, but also that we can have a good time.
Wow, that is some fantastic praise from Director Wells. You guys are such a fantastic example of how to be a great business in DC.
Yeah, no, really appreciate that. And Director Wells is a great guy. We've known him for a long time. He's a big fan of Atlas, so he has excellent taste in beers at the least.
It was neat. You know, in some of the outtakes, we got to talking about regenerative agriculture and how we can really make productive use of, you know, the landowner around panels. But, you know, the principles of regenerative ag are also about reusing a waste stream and finding other ways to use something that might otherwise be discarded. That reminds me of one of the previous collaborations you guys have done.
Yeah, we make a beer. We've tried to make it every year. This year with COVID kind of threw a wrench in the works, but we partner with a local organic grocery store called Mom's Organic Market. They've got a few locations in the area, and we help to rescue ugly fruit. So, you know, fruit that doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. It might be a peach that has a bruise on it. Us as consumers will just take that peach, set it aside, and it ends up going into the waste stream and being thrown away. So try to help, you know, call attention to that issue, as well as find a home for some of that fruit. We've collected all the bruised fruit during stone fruit season from Mom's Organic, and we make a American sour beer with that every year. It really adds a lot of fruit flavor to the beer. It changes every year because the mix up of the fruit that we're getting changes every year. So it's just a really cool kind of thing to look forward to and help call attention to some food waste issues as well.
That's awesome. Now, Daniel, the color of this beer is just awesome. It's so beautiful. But the balance is also really remarkable. I mean, I'm getting notes of honey, but it's not like an assault of sweetness. It's just beautifully even. I mean, it begs for that pairing of baklava and, you know, or blue cheese blue cheese that you recommend. It's a beautifully balanced beer.
I very much appreciate that. I feel the same way. But yeah, with this beer, we really did want to showcase the honey. It was, you know, it's kind of like the focus of the collaboration, and honestly, it's a really awesome project for us. So like, the way we kind of went about it was, you know, like you said, like honey, like it tastes like honey, but it's not that sweet. And so the way we did that was, post boil, like once everything's in the fermenter, that's where we added the honey, just so we don't, you know, worry about boiling off these like beautiful like aromatics from this honey, and you know, but it still ferments out the sugar, so you kind of get this nuance of honey, but without the kind of like cloying sweetness.
That's fantastic. It's the honey came from Minnesota-based Bear Honey, B-A-R-E, Bear Honey, and they harvested the honey from apiaries, or collections of beehives, on these beautiful flowering pollinator-friendly solar farms. One owned by a Minnesota Rural Electric Cooperative, Connexus Energy, and then another one owned by Annapolis-based Hannon Armstrong and Chicago-based NG.
I was gonna say, so like, and yeah, like that, like the flowers are beautiful, but they also, you really do taste it in the beer. Like, it's not your normal like clover honey. It's kind of like these like marshmallowy, kind of passion fruity kind of flavors coming from the honey.
And we actually got a chance to talk to the Senior Vice President of Development for NG. Here's what he said.
Hello, my name is Eric Lucebrink with NG Distributed Renewables. We're really excited to be teaming with Atlas Brewing Company and Fresh Energy on this fantastic event. Energy development. You might imagine that we're partial to gravel, cement, a lot of hard substances. However, that couldn't be farther from the truth. We have pollinator gardens and natural habitat throughout the ground cover of all of our sites in the US. Over 100 megawatts, over a half a dozen states. We are committed to renewable energy, and we're committed to improving the environment in that regard. So today, we really would like to celebrate with both Fresh Energy as well as Atlas Brewing Company, and make a toast to this fantastic beer, make a cheers to all of you. Thank you.
So then also, because of a great Minnesota connection, U.S. Senator Tina Smith.
Hi, I'm Minnesota Senator Tina Smith, and I'm glad to join you in celebrating Fresh Energy and Atlas Brew Works' new beer. Now, the Sunny Honey Saison isn't just any beer. It's made with honey harvested from solar farms in Minnesota. Plantings at solar installations create a great habitat for honeybees and other pollinators, and it helps prevent soil erosion and contributes to carbon sequestration. Plus, it looks great, better than gravel. Clean energy has been one of my top priorities since I came to the Senate. My Clean Energy Standard Act would put the US on a path to reach net zero emissions from the electric sector by the middle of the century. We're going to need a lot more solar power to get there, so I'll keep partnering with Fresh Energy to create more pollinator-friendly solar everywhere in America. Now, before I go, I want to say thanks to my friend and fellow Minnesotan and former Minnesota Supreme Court Justice, Alan Page. Alan is donating his book, Be Love, to D.C. Public Schools as part of this event. And thank you to Fresh Energy's Rob Davis and Atlas Brew Works' Justin Cox for inviting me to join today's celebration to promote clean energy, land stewardship, and pollinator protection with beer. Cheers to you all, and to a pollinator-friendly solar. It's good.
Thank you so much, Senator Smith. Wow, how exciting.
Yeah, it's great. And we're super excited to help use some of the proceeds from the sale of Sunny Honey Saison to provide DC Public Schools with those books that Justice Page is donating.
That's so great. That's so great. And I think Daniel, we will, Justin and I will raise a glass to your artistry and in celebration of this fine creation, sir.
Cheers, Danny. You did a great job, nailed this one.
Thank you.
So a great collaboration and solar power.